So my hope is, right? So my hope is that they have miscalculated entirely, right? And they're gonna put something in the mid lane. No! What? That's maybe enough? We're gonna tie? We're gonna win! Yeah! Woo! Wow, completely missed the math on Xandar. Hey everyone, welcome on into Brock's Gym. It's where we learn about our favorite new decks around in TCG. And today we're going to talk about the Patriot list on Marvel Snap. So without further ado, let's just jump right in. So if you've never seen a list like Patriots do, I'm sure you have because it's a pretty common deck on the ladder at the moment. The game plan is to play Patriot and then buff your entire team. And by doing so, you play cards with no abilities, much like our good friend Misty Knight, Shocker, and then cards like Ultron, which then produce no ability robots, and our good friend Doctor Doom, who do the same thing. The ultimate goal is to just overwhelm your opponent with a board filled with high power cards. The advantage of that is you have an equal shot of winning every lane minus the Patriot lane, because unfortunately, Patriot has 1 power, Mystique has 0 power, and anything else you're going to want to use that to protect Patriot, much like Cosmo. I say much like Cosmo. They're not going to have enough power to win the lane. Squirrel Girl, perfect example of like a one drop that does exactly what it needs to, right? It produces 2 no ability squirrels that will end up getting pumped by Patriot and then later Mystique and Blue Marvel, and they end up being like 5/5s if you kind of get the uh, sequencing correct. Misty Knight again just is another easy low cost drop that will again just set the tone for the game and allow it to be kind of like a pillar for early locations, and Shocker's gonna do the same thing. Armor that is to protect our 1/1s from Killmonger slash if they ever get high enough, like sometimes our Doctor Doom bots will get up to 9 power, and then so they got Shang-Chi, and we're gonna want to protect those as well. Mystique is going to be Patriot's best friend. The goal there is to either turn 3 Patriot, turn 4 Mystique, and maybe a 1 cost card, or turn 6 slam Patriot, slam Mystique, so they can't react to it. Patriot's our namesake card. Your cards with no abilities have +2 power. Very powerful ability, especially with the deck that it's residing in. Now, Storm is an interesting one because obviously you really don't want to run into locations where they grant negative power to your cards because you have a lot of 1/1s. So things like negative zone, those cause so much problems with this deck because it messes with the math a lot. And what that will do is it will mean you are now like at more of a disadvantage than other decks because your cards have such a base low power that if you don't get Patriot or if you don't get Blue Marvel, then you're actually just negative power and it's gonna just be a nightmare. Cosmo, like I said, um, is a great card for protecting Patriot because one of the biggest ways to stop Patriot decks is Enchantress or Rogue, and thankfully those are both on reveal abilities. And so Cosmo comes in, just man's best friend. He's gonna protect Patriot with his life. Also, randomly hose other decks. One of my favorite things to do with a lot of decks actually in Snap is to run a Cosmo just because Wong is so powerful. And if you can kind of time it right and make sure you have the right flip, Cosmo ends up being just like the perfect card. Omega Red is the weird one. This one is the test card, if you will, and kind of a tech card that I like to use. 5 power is like medium for a 4 cost card, but I think typically when you're playing Omega Red, you want to be in a shell that will allow you to, make the use of its ability, right? And something that Patriot Zoo likes to do is you're going to have a lot of times where you're going to have more than 10 power across the lane. What Omega Red also likes to do, it likes to pair up with something like Ultron, where if it's say it's something like turn 4 Omega Red, turn 5 Blue Marvel, turn 6 Ultron, in that lane, you're going to get most likely over 10 power against your opponent, and that'll again it'll essentially act as another robot in each lane, as it's going to grant 4 more power and everything else. That's a really great way to kind of like surprise your opponent, especially since no one really plays this in Patriot decks. It doesn't do anything with Patriot, but it does help out your lane, and it's a fun way to kind of like shake up your list anyway. Blue Marvel, just great, just Anthem effects. Um, I will be using, and you've kind of caught it already. I will be using a lot of Magic terms because that's the big TCG I've been into, and I'll tighten up a little bit as we kind of do more of these videos. But today it's gonna be a rough one. It's a pilot episode. We're trying to get there, you know. Doctor Doom. This is kind of like Plan B. Doctor Doom is not as good as Ultron when it comes to providing overall power. But the great thing about the Doom bots is that A, they're not a one cost card, and B, they're really good when you only have one spot. Because obviously you only get one Doom bot. Ultron you can get up to 4 robots. Typically when you have Patriot out, the 4 robots from Ultron will be more powerful than the one from Doombot or the one from Doctor Doom. But there will be some edge cases where you do just have exactly 3 lanes or 3 spots open in each location, and Doombots will come in and immediately solve the issue, and it's perfect. The unfortunate part is, with Doctor Doom, you don't get the buff, but that's fine. 5 power is totally normal. And then Ultron is like the big bad. That is our main end game card. I know a lot of people like to use Onslaught here as well. I don't. I think Onslaught's a little clunky in terms of trying to end the game with one card. I think Onslaught's really good when you're already winning, but it can sometimes be a little bit additional. It almost seems like too extra, especially when you already have like Mystique and Patriot out. And doubling both of those is very very good, but at that point you might I don't know, you're probably going to win already, but we'll see when we run the list, because I love being wrong because you never know. It's just one of those crazy things. So let's just hop into it. Let's just get into some games, huh? Let's get it. This hand's pretty bad. uh, as much as we love to see Patriot in our opening hand, it does hurt the overall game plan when we don't have our 1 drops. Um, they will be fine as if they come through the middle of the game. However, missing them on turns 1 and 2 really, really hurts our like kind of like tempo. Um, Squirrel Girl's good. So I think right now our new plan is going to be uh, we want to armor up our cards here. We don't have Shang-Chi, so we're not going to have a chance to kill their big threat. So we're going to try to have to go over the top of them. And Scorpion sucks for us, but luckily we're going to protect our 2 ability-less cards, and we hit the best location in the game. This is fantastic. Um, we will, what we really, realistically, well, we got a kind of a couple of options here. So one thing we can do is we can open with Cosmo and protect this lane. This looks like kind of like a general value deck slash we don't know yet. Scorpion's such a common card that we actually can't really tell what deck this is at the moment. So a safe bet would just be to Cosmo here, and then maybe next turn we can go Patriot and Squirrel Girl. And I think that might be what we want to do. And let's see, their flip here will be good. So Cable probably means Devil Dino. You can kind of tell because they want to keep their hand pretty full. So we'll do what we said. We will go with Patriot, and because we want to make sure we have a squirrel here, we're gonna go ahead. We'll do this sequencing a little more correctly here. We'll open with Squirrel Girl and then Patriot. The reason why is that we can also get a Mystique instead of Captain Marvel or Blue Marvel rather, and then we can double up our power. And then at the end of the day, our game plan here at the complete end of this game is to get Doctor Doom to Nidavellir. Nidavellir. Nidavellir, the middle lane, and then win with our Doombots. So, um, very curious to see what they're going to put out next because it could probably change the way our game shapes up here. Like, we have their Moon Girl as well, so I think we're like 99% it's going to be Devil Dino. So this turn we might see something like White Queen or Quinjet. Yep, it's okay. Yes. So since they did not play Moon Girl, they do not have two dinos yet, which is good for us because that means they're only gonna try to win one lane. And right now we're kind of set up to do a lot of good. Shocker is medium, but what that does actually is so what we want to do here, right? So we're gonna to play Mystique mid. What they'll I mean it'll make no longer -1 to give us some power here. And then we can play Shocker here because it's going to have another 3 power. It's going to be 6, 8, 10 power here at the end of the day. And the rest of our no ability cards are going to get stronger as well. So here comes Double Dino. They know Double Dino is going to be safe here because we have a Cosmo here, so I can't Shang-Chi it. I don't really know. Yeah, so I don't know why they would do that, but it's going to confirm their win here. And so the cards right now that we have to play around are Taskmaster. And I guess at this point, Shang-Chi, because they can kill our Shocker because it is at 10 power. And now we're in a weird spot because they're going to play one card, drop down Double Dinosaur to 15 probably. They can play a couple cards. They can play Sentinel again, get it back up. They can play Nick Fury, again, refill their hand. Right now, if we play Doctor Doom, so we'll put another 10 power to the middle, and then another, was that 4 power? So another 9 cost here, put us up to 16. So we hope they play 2 cards and don't drop them back. Or we'll just win here, and we're going to get first flipped here, so that kind of sucks. The other thing is we could play Omega Red here, try to get the bonuses. It's not going to be enough. We know that for a fact it's not going to be enough damage. So I think what they're going to probably do, and we might lose here, but I think it's worth giving it a go. They're probably going to play Shang-Chi and then a Sentinel, and then be able to win both lanes. So find out. That's my card. What card is this? What do they steal? This? No. Yeah. My armor. What is this? Cause Quinjet. Oh, but we played too many cards. We'll take that. All right. Game 2. And this is one of the locations we really didn't want to see. So sewer system sucks. Obviously, it sucks for everyone. But that's exactly why we play Storm. So the game plan here with Storm is to then Storm sewer system, and it's going to be our advantage since we have 2 cards that can fill the space after it's flooded. Right now, since we drew pretty poorly once again, our opening hand's also kind of shit. But it should be enough because right now our kind of next couple our next couple turns are going to be something like Patriot into Storm, into we change everything because now we can play multiple cards a turn, and we have both of our heavy hitters as well in this deck. So right now, I actually think what I want to do, I think I want to, I think I want Patriot here. So I'm not gonna play like we have Mystique. We have a lot of chance to. We would rather play these cards than sync up with Mystique. We also have a Blue Marvel we can play next turn. So I think what I want to do is just try and get cards on the table. I've never seen this variant as a crazy looking beast. Scorpion Korg into Beast into Goose into Invisible Woman. How'd you get buffed? This might be Cerebro 2, would be my guess. At the moment, all of those cards do have 2 power. This is a good card to protect your Cerebro and your Mystique. And it's gonna be turn 4, so we can probably see them both come down, and they'll both copy of each other. So what we can do is we can. So it's actually gonna be interesting because what we can do is, assuming that's the case, we put Cosmo here, and that way Mystique, when she flips, she's gonna stay as a zero, just like a zero nothing. Actually, it's gonna be negative power. So I think what we want to try to do is this, and the reason why, and I just realized it's not gonna work the way I wanted to, and that game plan is not gonna work the way I want to, because of Xandar. And now this is gonna be an interesting predicament here. So I think what we want to do, actually, is probably just Marvel flooding. No, that's silly. We want a Marvel middle at the end of the day. Um, I think something we want to do is actually Marvel and then Rock and then play Doom next turn. And hopefully they don't have anything for this lane. And my hope is that the Doom boss will be strong enough. So we'll see what they do at Elysium location here. That's Cerebro. What the hell is underneath Invisible Woman? Fascinating stuff. So yeah, so we're gonna punt mid. There's no reason for us to fight for it, and I think that's where our good friend Doctor Doom's gonna come in. Ultron will give us a 4/4 flooded, but will also give us 8 on Elysium. Doctor Doom will give us a, was that an 8/8? I need to stop saying 8/8. An 8 power card left and right. I think that's enough. And by 8, I mean +2 plus 1 more, so if it's going to be 5 then 3. So I think Doom is going to be good enough. Let's find out. Let's find it together. Okay. So the problem with Cerebro in this particular matchup is that, yeah, all right. It just the entire math is messed up from Xandar, and that's fine. But what you have to do is you have to account for that, and then try to either um, just overload one other lane, because I think playing Invisible in there was not. It's fine because you have to play a card to get power down, but yeah, I don't know. I feel like trying to you lock off Goose in one lane, and then you play Cerebro in the same lane. That's still fine. I guess that's what we do with Cosmo and Patriot. I don't really know what you're supposed to do with that Xandar line, but it's alright. Move on. We're in Mojo World. Very good for Patriot. Mojo World's a weird location because you kind of have to fight for it, and if you don't, obviously, if you just punt the lane, that's fine. But it's in the times where you tie and it's really bad, and that kind of feels bad. Like when you lose the Mojo lane, um, you feel like, well, I saw it, it was in front of me the whole time, and you still just misplay around it. But it happens. It's one of those things. America. This is a weird hand now. So right now, as it stands, I think what we want to do is actually try to play for the Mojo World, and then try to get Omega here, and then try to just like overwhelm with them. Thank you, Maximus. Hmm. For our opponent, Maximus just kind of goes in a bunch of stuff. This might just be good cards list, and they didn't draw either Iceman or Scorpion. For those coming from other TCGs, Maximus is very much an interesting card because obviously it is a powerful card. 3 drop for 7 power is very good. However, the drawback is also pretty bad. Uh, Giving your opponent 2 cards is brutal, especially since there are some decks that really need to find their card. When you see something like Adam Warlock, like that they're dying to have this card, right? Like they need to go find Galactus, or they need to go find, like, I don't know. I was doing it in Devil Dinosaur decks while I was testing it out. It's fine in that list, but in other lists where they need that one card, like if you're trying to find Null or something, it's very good. Our game plan right now is, so we have first flip. We're gonna just slam Cosmo here, and I'm just gonna snap after slamming Cosmo. Uh, I don't know what my opponent's gonna do. We're actually gonna store this 2 here anyway, right? Because it's gonna be another 1/1. One cost, 1 power, a 1/1. And we don't have Patriot, and that sucks, but it is what it is. Sarah, yeah. So Sarah Miracle. Another reason why you'd play Maximus. They can still win this game. So there's actually very much a real chance they do win this game, and I'm a little worried since I am only winning these lanes because of the Omega Red passive ongoing, and I can't actually Ultron mid because of Cosmo, which is fine. And I think at the end of the day, we're just gonna have to try to Marvel their way down. They're gonna win right lane, and they're probably gonna fill up left lane. They do have kind of a lot more power than we do. I may have made a mistake by snapping, but the other thing is we can do instead of that, we can, I mean, we can lose this, right? But throwing Ultron here could help because that'll be 9, and then this will fill up here, and this will end up being, I mean, this will end up being 8, but then we just wait them out, burn them out. Another one. All right, that sucks. Not being able to play anything on turn 1, even with. No. All right, the one few times where Yondo is really good, they just snipe your card. That's fine. We're gonna be okay. You know why? Because this is going to be our Patriot, and it's all gonna be fine. I don't really care where Squirrel Girls go. When you don't know what this location is gonna be, Squirrel Girl is pretty medium. But let's find out. Let's see what we get. So now we're gonna get first flip. Strange Academy. Our options now become we can either storm Strange Academy, storm Expansion, we can Cosmo somewhere. I think it's just worth it. I don't really want 2 squirrels in 1 lane, especially when I know I lost Patriot. You're not going to have enough power to win that lane if once the squirrel gets there. All right, so Thor deck. Why? I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, why armor? This ain't looking good. Now that we're going to lose our Tuma, thanks to a very vicious squirrel. I think our next game plan is to try to get this to 10 power. Maybe. We'll kind of see what they do. Atuma's dead. It's tragic. Oh, and I'm not gonna have the flip. Oh, okay. Let's see. Did they get greedy? This is one of those games where we're just gonna just insta leave if they snap. And it's going to be bad. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching again. Hopefully you guys learned a little something about Patriot decks. Go to thegamehouse.com, catch our latest articles, and make sure to subscribe and hit the slam that damn bell down there. So thank you again. Peace.